Welcome to Framework Fortune and welcome back Framework Fortune community. It's time for another episode of The Last Rip where we take a look at top Nasdaq and NYSE gainers on the day and see if we can find any trades for the following day. Since it's Friday, this will be for Monday and next week. And I do think there are some possible runners already. But let's not waste any time and let's dive into the SPY. So the S&P 500 today climbing, pushing new highs all the way up to 427, and man, it just will not slow down. It looked like it might start dropping, but held up that 50-day, and so we're pushing up again. We are getting a little ways off of the 20, so Monday we could push to 430, but we also might have a pullback to the 20-day there and have a little consolidation day. But we will see. A lot can change over the weekend. So the first stock we're going to take a look at on the Nasdaq gainer list is SPCE. This is Virgin Galactic. If you don't know about them, they are trying to send people to the moon as a tourist type of thing. So they got some news today and they received approval from FAA for full commercial launch license following success of May test flight. Elon Musk is trying to go to Mars. Virgin Galactic is trying to take people to the moon for fun. Because they received that approval, starting in pre-market, moving from 40 all the way up in the after hours to 60. Stayed above that 20-day EMA the whole entire time, never even touched it. So strong bullish move. We could easily see this continue to rip. So OSMT, they are selling some stuff to make some money. It got a pop in pre-market for some reason. They're trying to sell stuff because they're in debt is what I gathered from this PR. And I guess people saw the PR and thought that they were receiving $110 million, like they got a contract or something, and it pushed up. But as you can see, it has sold off, dropping from that morning gap up all the way down to 359 now in after hours. So it wasn't actually good news, because if they're selling all of their assets to pay some debt, then it's obviously not a very well run company, and that reflects on the chart as it's been in a downtrend for a year. Next we got GRVI. This was one I traded. It IPO'd yesterday and was moving very nicely. Been on this uptrend all the way through after hours, through pre-market. Had a big rip this morning. I was looking for the break over 9 for it to push to 10, so I got in at 897. It only ran to 937, and then it started consolidating, almost making a little triangle, and I held and held for as long as I could, but we got the indecision candle with the bearish engulfing candle, which just led to it selling off and cracking this trend line. So $45 loss there. ACXP, this is a new IPO coming out today, ripping from 560 all the way to 874. This is a very low float stock, only 9.5 million shares, and seeing it rip today like this and hold its gains in the after hours, I am throwing it on the watch list. This could be one that could rip on Monday very easily, especially because we've seen so many IPOs ripping. IKNX got some PR. They had a merger agreement with a cryptocurrency. Not the best timing for that as cryptos are down. It is a cryptocurrency mining company that's 90% zero carbon energy. So that, of course, got some hype into it. It basically shot up in pre-market when it got that news and just continued to run all the way to $25 before selling off about halfway. So it held half its gains. Very low float, only 2 million. So that bad boy is going on the watch list for Monday as well. FFHL, this one is a movie company, so I don't pay these much attention. Their prices can change with a whim. If they let out a bad movie, a real flop, then that can affect the price of the stock because they lose money if they don't get people to come see it. So nothing I would trade. GROM, it's another low flow IPO that sold off. Had a few days there just consolidating sideways and then got some buying in. You can see it made a nice little U shape there and then crossed over the EMAs. The 20-day crossed over these EMAs and it ran all the way up to $4. This is another low float one. Possible play for Monday. TKNO. Another IPO came out at $20, ripped to $27. Pretty decent little float, 26 million. So that is going on the watch list for Monday as well. CRCT. This is one of those consumer discretionary stocks that's been on a nice climb. Pretty bullish on the daily chart. Just riding up that 20-day. And then exploding today from 33 up to 42. Almost an $11 run. Very nice rip. On to the top NYSE gainers. I traded ALF today. This was my other trade. It shot up this morning at market open and then started consolidating and making this little triangle on the 5-minute chart. So I got in at 727. It dipped a little bit. I added at 1714. I only had enough for 13 shares, so I took the 13 shares, and then it just made a nice rip up to that $20 mark, over 20 actually, to 20.75. From a psychological standpoint of other traders, once it got up over 15 and 16 and 17, to me it was pretty obvious that this was going to go to 20. As I said in the live streams, when somebody asks you to borrow money, they ask to borrow $20. They don't say, hey, can I borrow $17.50? So anytime a stock rips strong over 15, there's a good possibility it will run to 20. When it broke 20, I was expecting a lot of buy-in to come in, but it didn't, so it pulled back, and I got out of it, made a little $32 profit. Got some of that loss back. So next we got Nike. There is a lot of PR on this. Looks like their price target got raised amongst other things. And it just shot up in after hours yesterday. Big explosion from 133 up to 154 and just continued to climb today. Still holding all its gains in after hours. So you could easily see Nike continue to run. JKS beating their Q1 earnings estimates. So they had really good earnings. Just popped up at market open, ran straight up to 42, and slowly climbed the rest of the day. Only 47 million in float, so could have a possible day trade there, but it did run into the 200 and the 100-day on the daily, so it'd have to break over 43 pretty strong. And then it's going to run into 45 and 50, so a lot of resistance ahead of this before it can really get going. XYF, this was climbing yesterday, and then just ripped out the gate today from 12 to 15.75. I think this is another one of those Asian ADRs, so they're just continuing their run that they've been on for a while now. Probably a decent amount of investors out there who are thinking the same thing I am. They're bearish on the U.S. stock market, bearish on the U.S. dollar, so they're trying to put their money in something other than U.S., and they're putting it in these Asian ADRs because China and Japan are doing some work when it comes to technological advancements and their market. So I could see why investors would be putting their money there for now. GNE, this looks like it's an energy stock. So this is an energy stock that got pretty low, just getting bought up off of the support area at 555, and the rip actually didn't happen till power hour. Just a whole lot of buying randomly coming in at power hour for an explosion up to 660. So energy sector just continuing to be hot. That's all that is. So as far as my swings, AUUD actually did get all the way up to 5. That was my price target. But I decided I wanted to hold it over the weekend as long as it held up because I got into it at such a good price. I'm in it at 335. The last time it was even near there was yesterday in pre-market. So holding up its gains, still climbing. You can see this uptrend clearly on the 15-minute above all the EMAs. I think it may try to test and break 5 next week. But as you can see right here on Street Smart Edge, I am up $40 on it. I am going to hold it to see if it can break through that $5 area. Unless it starts to crack below 4, then I'll just get out and lock it in. I still am holding Vino, 120 shares. I am down 136 on it. I was close to selling it today. I wasn't planning on holding it into Monday, but it just pretty much went sideways today, holding above that 520 area, which if you look on the daily chart is right here where the 20 and the 100-day are. So it's holding pretty strong support. Could possibly make a curl. So Monday, if it starts dropping any lower, I'm getting out. But if it starts pushing back up, then I'm going to hold to try to see if it can get back to that $9, maybe even $10 area. So let me know your thoughts on the top gainers of the day and what trades that you made and how they turned out for you down in the comments below. Appreciate everybody joining me as always. Stay safe out there. Until next time.